without you lot coming along and having the same interest. We all go to parties and people ask us what we like to do for a hobby, and we tell them that we like old trucks and we work on them and we drive them. That's the end of the conversation. We're lepers at a party. All the lepers are in one room tonight, and thank you very much for coming. I would like to thank some people that have helped us put this thing together. And up here we have Twin City Trucks, Mark Vaughan, Hardwick Trucks, Porter Bandang, Albury Truck and Trailer, William Adams, Coburg Trucks, Robert Pickles, who've donated a hell of a lot of stuff. Also this morning we had Scotty Huff had the van that gave us time and shelter, and he put a lot of work in to do that, so I thank him very much. And thank you, Scott. There's also the girls running around, Mari, Janice, Jenny and Jane. They did a great job, and you know, I really do thank them very much. I'd like to thank you girls. I would also like to thank Jared Blair for putting on the HCBC forum, which you know, really helped to promote what we all love. This event was never meant to be a club event. It was meant for people from all walks of life, with every truck and for any club, just to drive up the road. That's all we ever wanted. So I'd like to thank everyone. Thank you very much. Now, the club was run through ATHS, American Truck Historical Society, so we're going to have a brief word from Gavin, President, and he won't be long. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for your support. Certainly to all the people who sponsored this event. You know, as Rob just mentioned, I won't recap all the people who've mentioned, but certainly the people that have actually fundamentally put this event together, like Robert himself, Roger and Ari, James and Susie, just all of the people who in any way, shape or form helped put this together. Thank you all very, very much, from not just the ATHS, but from the HCBC, the Velvet Truck Club and all of the other clubs, the Sydney clubs, and thank you to all of the people who've travelled so far from New South Wales, Queensland, Western Australia, South Australia. People have come from everywhere, and it's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful that you all showed your support in this way. So, and to Robert, Peter, Ryan, Roger and everybody, thank you all very much. A big round of applause for all of those guys. Just one last thing, I'd also like to say thank you to all of the media outlets that have given us coverage, Mara Whitson and all of those magazines and transport mediums that have actually, you know, given us coverage on this event and made it successful. It's been fantastic, thank you. And I just want people to please stop patting me on the back, because the reason this is a success is because I had nothing to do with it, honestly. Nothing at all, nothing. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Gavin. I left a few people out because when we did the Sydney run back to Yass, we're all sitting around having a drink, and about 700 people said, we're going to run this event from Melbourne to Albury. Someone said, you better hurry up because there's that many people going to do it. I decided to do it because I don't want to see trucks sitting on the side of the road and everyone polishing their U-bolts and just sitting around for a day. That just drives me insane. You need to get an old truck and you need to drive it. So I decided to do it. And then I had some people come along. Peter Rowlands said to me, look, I was going to do it and I mapped out the road. So he came along and said, I'll give you the map, and he spent days and days on it, even though he got lost today. He mapped it out and he got lost. So what hope did we have? Thank you, Peter. Now, also, we had James and Susie Harris from up here and got a lot of sponsorship and did a hell of a lot of work. And then, all of a sudden, well, from the start, we've had Roger Marchetti, Slasher, most people know him, absolutely did nearly everything. So I really need those people to come up here now, because I want to see them. I want you to see their face. Can you come up, Peter, please? Peter, don't let me down, please. These people did so much They did an Academy Award performance. So, I'd like to give them an Oscar. That's for Peter Rollins. That's for James Harris. That's for the little Frenchman. Did I forget someone? Yes, I did. Susie. Thank you. Thanks very much. You can finish your meal or go where you want to go. No worries, no problems. But we have our guest speaker tonight is a friend of Slasher's. The reason they met each other, because Slasher was speeding in his bus and a policeman pulled him up. So the policeman's here tonight to give us their side of the story, because we're all being heroes up and down the highway. So I'd like you to welcome Senior Sergeant Bill Gore. All right. I know he's probably chased me a few times, but he's not a bad sort of a bloke. So give him a bit of time. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I actually met Slasher just to give myself a bit of credibility. We actually drove for the same company. So I drove buses for about 10 years with Slasher. Bit of history about myself. February 1st this year was 40 years I've been in the police force. The father was a whole lot of patrolman before me. The first thing I remember about working the highway was working with amphimeter, for those of you who remember, with the two tubes on the road. Back in 1961, 62 with the father, so I've been around a while. Look, I'm not going to bore you too much tonight, I'm not going to give you a deep meaning or anything like that. What I've got up here is just a bit of change of technology that you might be interested to see, because you guys are driving old technology today, and you compare it almost daily probably with the new stuff of the highway. So what I've got, this here was the very first ever covert tape recorder used on the Houston Highway. It's the size of about 2 briquettes. It was a reel-to-reel, and it worked for half an hour. That was replaced in the 80s with one of these, with the small micro cassettes, and they worked for an hour inside of the tape and worked on AA batteries. What we use today is this, and I can tape the 16 ounce digitally. Every policeman who works the highway has one of those. Every highway car that works the highway has a camera. Every policeman's wired for sound. Keep that in mind. I don't know to tell you about the guys in Mansfield who forgot about it. Alright. Random breath testing. When I first joined the police force in 1972, we had the old puff bag. Glass tube, break the 2 ends of the glass tube, stick one end of the mouthpiece, stick the other end in a plastic bag. If the crystals turned green, you came back for a breath test. I said to a bloke one day, "You're going to do this test?" And he said, "I've got this beat." I said, "How do you got a beat?" He said, "I suck, I don't play." I said, "How does that win?" He said, "The crystals stay alright, but my face turns green." They cost about $1.50 each to run. We then went to a thing called an SD2, which is the first of the electronic ones. About $750 to buy, and we do about 100 tests an hour. Very easy. We then went to a thing called the SD400. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring them home today. And what they do is actually report on a computer what's done. Basically, it's to improve the credibility of the policeman. So, in the old days, if you got a bloke right out in the wilderness for .05, you would say, "It's going to take me 2 hours to get back." But now, if you get somebody for .05 records, and the police department sends you a police explain as to where's the brief, where's the person you dealt with. So, you just can't get away with it anymore. Also, nothing is police-proof. The SD402, I think it's called, is coming shortly with touch screens. And it even tells you that you can whether you're pulling up a lady or a man and there's a picture of a lady with a dress on, and it's just weird. But anyway, I did say that it was being run by a policeman, didn't I? Alright, the first speed detecting device on the human through light was a stopwatch. And we all know that...
time yours is for them, didn't it?
Exactly correct. Unless I put money on it, then they come up with a calendar. Very simply, 30 kilometres, I beg your pardon, 1 kilometre and 30 seconds is 130 kilometres an hour. The police department introduced this in 1970, which is called a VASCAR, Visual Aid Computer Exclusion Recorder. Very simply, we measured a distance on the road, we watched 2 guys travel that distance, we worked over the stopwatch and it gave us the speed. These things were $1,500 each. Fellow by the name of Roy Lott made these for $400. So the police department said we'll have these, but they didn't self-calculate, so they had to give us a $3 calculator to go with it. But we saved lots of money. We then went to these, which is a TDS detector, and we've now got a thing about the size of a credit card, which sits in front of the car. Anybody who wants to see the new car, I've actually got a XR6, I'm sorry it's Ford, but everybody else drove the real thing. Something humorous. This thing here is an ultraviolet light. In the early 60s, early 70s, truck drivers used to alter their logbooks. You won't believe that. So what we used to do is to stick these on the windows, and the ultraviolet light would tell us whether you'd actually altered the logbook with white king. About 12 months ago, we had this on a window at one of their operations, and we said to the truck drivers that we were checking for logbooks that had been altered with a special light, and nobody came in anymore. Everybody just parked up. Alright, a little bit of technology. You remember the old flares? Actually, I'll take one step further. Have you all heard of the new drug tests? Have you seen them work?
The boy one.
Okay. I'm going to yank them on drug legislation. Okay, is there anybody who wants to volunteer for the test? Right, very simply, I'll just show you how this works.
You only tell them to, you don't want to breathe in that.
Very simply, it's just like a random breath test. That's the legal side of it. What we do, we take the top of it.
Hurry up, we're on a schedule here.
We take the top off it, and for those of you who can see, this will be here for anybody who wants to see it later on. There's 2 little things here, and what I would say is to the driver, I'd say, you see those things there? What I want you to do is take that in your hand, place those 2 things on the back of your tongue and drag it forward in a manner that I can see you do it.
You deviant.
Try not to laugh. It makes it a bit hard, you can stand. We then break an ampule of water. We'll wait about 5 or 6 seconds, and then it takes 5 minutes. And then what you do is you just sit there and let it cook for 5 minutes. I'll show you the results in a minute. But basically we then talk about how everything's got to crash cold and all that sort of stuff. And just keep the things going. Do you remember the flares that we used to light? Unfortunately, policemen didn't like them. We set fires to people in cars and so on. So what they did, they went to this, which is just a rotator flare. Okay, we went to that. 4 loose on batteries. Unfortunately, people said that they couldn't see them. They kept driving over them, so I went to these. I call this Slash's Halo. But unfortunately, you could drive over those, but unfortunately only the truck drivers could see them because they were so high. And what we've got now are these things.
Landmine.
Alright, and they last for 10 hours or 10 minutes on that week, so that's what people call company on foot. Alright? One last thing I'd like to show you, just before I tell you a couple of funny stories. This thing here is worth about $4,500. It's nothing fancy, but the Digitector back in the late 60s, early 70s, took us about 45 minutes to lay down. Once you were down there, it was stuck down. And you had to work at one spot. Once you knew where we were, you were home free. You could do what you like. These things now are basically just a laser and a pair of binoculars. We can detect speed at the speed of light, effectively, and then move on. Very, very easy piece of equipment to use, but every police car's got one now. You need to keep that in mind. Alright, a couple of funny stories. I'm going to tell some funny stories. I hope they're funny. They're funny to me because I see it from the other side of the tree. I pulled up a truckie one day. If I can remember when I first joined the police force, the speed was 65 kilometres an hour for a truck. We used to give you the 80 before we booked you. If that makes 80, we give you 90. It's now 100, and we knock off 105. That's a whole issue. But I pulled this bloke up one day, and if you got booked twice, you walked from up in the old days. It's not the same now. And this bloke, he got out and he nearly burst into tears. I said, what's going on? He said, oh, look, my wife's sick, my girlfriend's pregnant. If you take my licence, if you book me today, I'm going to lose my licence, I'm going to lose my house. And on one of those rare occasions, I actually believed this bloke that day. So I warned him. And about 12 months later, I pulled up another truckie and I said, I know you. He said, I was given 150 on fine. And what it was, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He kept his house, he kept his wife, Lord knows about his girlfriend, but because I gave him the break that day, he was able to keep driving, and the second time I called him, he went, yeah, you got me cold. And he was right. So that's a bit of a positive for us. One of the funny things, Digitector, as you guys know, we have a lot of mutual respect between you guys and us, but in absolute fact, it's really a big game between us, isn't it? Back in 79, remember when the highway was duplicated between Euroa and Benalla? As it was being built, we had a big dirt road up one side of the old highway. Again, the speed to you guys was 65, I think. So what we did, we drove all the way from Euroa, all the way to the back road through Nagambie, slid into Euroa, drove about the last 5 k's without lights, crept up to the highway and had a look, no one was coming. So we run out on the road, we nailed the first chute out of the side and say, there's a truck coming. So we dive into the grass, we'd all be lying face down in the drains and into the grass, wait for the truck to go past. He'd go past, so we'd get up and we'd lay the other tube down. Took us about an hour and a half to put the Digitector up. So then we hit back up in the trees. And what we did, because the old road or the new road ran along the old road for nearly 5 kilometres full moon, we would get the speed on the ampermeter, the detector, and then we would drive along beside the truck on the old road until it got onto, on the new road, until it got onto the old road about 7 kilometres from where we were. And we would pull them up and say, mate, we got your speeding back there. And it took about 3 hours until we actually worked out where we were. Then we were burnt and had to finish up. But that night we got, I don't know, 7 or 8 semi-trailers for about 110, 115 kilometres each until I worked out where we were. So for us, great night, bit of fun, but it's all in the game. It's
called revenue rate.
And it works well. Look, I should finish up with a bit of dynamic. We are in this together. When I first joined the police force, it was all about having people be booked. It's not about having them all. it's truly not about that. If my crashes are down, I can justify anything, but if my crashes are up, as an example, if my crashes are happening in Mora, then all of my work, all of my efforts go into Mora. So if you guys don't want to be hassled on the hidden freeway, don't crash there. Because then I won't have to go and work on the hidden freeway. We don't go there to catch speeders, we don't go there we're not on quotas, haven't been for years, we're not on commission. No, and without putting too long a point on it, I've got to say this, yes, speed cameras make money. Alright? But I have to justify why I put the speed cameras where I put the speed cameras. But don't put them there just to make money. Alright? We put them there to lower crashes. When speed cameras started, we were losing 750 people a year. Last year we lost less than 300. Speed cameras work. For every life we saved the community $1.25 million. Alright? If you've been caught by speed cameras, no matter what your excuse is, always you will speed. Alright? If you haven't been caught, you're doing a great job. Thanks very much, I'm up here. If you want to talk to me later, have a look at this stuff, it's all here, it's a touch of museum. Thanks for your time.
Bill, I'd like you to stay up there. Slash has got something for you. Thank you very much, Bill. That was great. When Bill started, he talked about breaking that vial in two and putting one bit in his mouth, and I was worried whether you were going to have to put the other bit. That was worrying.
Well, just before we go, this is Slash's drug test. I'll leave this up here where you can see. Essentially, there are two red lines on here, one above the other. What we look for are two parallel lines in the one space. And if that's the case, then this person is driving drugs. The offence is driving with drugs in your system, not driving under the influence. So if you've got something, you're in the book. Full stop. We don't have to be impaired with this stuff. Alright, keep that in mind. What else am I going to say? It's very important. Can't remember.
Slash.
Just a thank you for Bill coming along tonight and having a chat. I found this a while ago and thought that fitting the occasion. So Bill, on behalf of us tonight, I'd like to present that to you. It's probably a few people have seen that around over the years. It was in a roadhouse many years ago. It is the Hume Highway with Freddy Krueger in uniform. And at one stage I thought Bill was that. But I'll, yeah, so thank you Bill, much appreciated.
Thanks very much.
I think we'll just have a bit of a break from the speakers. You can talk amongst yourself and see what you think, and we'll get the next speaker up in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Frank.